Hey, hey, hey.
Welcome to the Grow House Podcast. We are podcasting today from Big J's CBD Smoke Lounge in San Marcos. If you don't know about it, you got to come. This is where the cultural changes are happening. This is where you're starting to see smoke lounges pop up. This is where you start to see all the people who believe in the plant coming together and getting out together and making a community together. And we couldn't be doing a more special podcast than we are today at such a cool venue. So excited to have you on the show today, my friend, my hero, truly.
Yes, welcome, our friend, our dear friend, Pirates of the Third Coast. We'll call you Blonde Beard. Okay, Blonde Beard, with us today. You know, it's such an honor to have you here talking to us on the record, you know, on our podcast.
420, my
You know, you've been our grower for a minute, the grower that we rely on for our own medicine.
Totally.
For a minute, and so having you on just means a lot of things.
Oh yeah. Dude, I'm happy to be here.
I'm so glad you're, dude, tell me just to give context a little bit here, you are growing illegally in Texas.
Everybody is growing illegally in Texas. Who's growing.
Unfortunately.
He's like, I'm not the only one.
There's a lot of us. But yes, yeah. I am unfortunately, unfortunately, right?
No,
yeah.
but I mean, do you live with, does that make you afraid? What was your breaking point?
I think, no, not necessarily. I mean, when you grow up doing this kind of thing, I think anybody who's done it, who's even smokes weed their entire life thing, you kind of grow up with that mentality, and like that kind of fear becomes a part of your early days, and then you kind of become used to it, and then it kind of subsides, and you kind of just see the police as like a negative thing anyways all the time, and you just want to stay away from them even if you're not doing anything bad because you see consequences.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, what we're doing is just an expression of our own freedom, and whenever I started doing this, I just had the idea of as long as I keep to myself, pretty sure no one will bother me, and that's pretty much been the case. I don't, obviously when you have a big grow, you're not really going out and doing a whole lot, but I'm not going out and causing trouble and getting arrested or getting myself in the middle of a bar fight or whatever like that. I'm low key under the radar, and there's a lot of people doing what I do. That's what I've pretty much figured out. A lot of people in the whole Austin area and outside and weird obscure areas reach out to me all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people. It's like it's a movement right now. It's a revolution. You know?
Yeah.
So.
Go ahead.
So just to provide a little bit of context,
Totally.
We met you through Instagram. We kind of recognized what each other was doing, as far as advocacy in Texas.
Totally.
And, we connected, and I'm just like so glad we did, because, you've been so open with us about your life and with your plants, and, we've shot a lot of other interesting things together yet to be seen. So I just wanted to put that context out there. Just to say that we've been following your story for a minute, and you've really inspired us to speak up even louder for the Liberty market here in Texas.
Right on.
Your dedication to getting your medicine to your community. You are not a drug lord.
Fuck no.
You are not a bad person. You are a plant-focused, healthy person who is awesome and laughs easily and doesn't like to hang out at bars.
You laugh with such ease.
You do. It's like, but that's not the idea that a lot of people get in their minds when they hear about, oh God, he grows.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what.
He grows weed and he sells weed.
I'm a big nerd,
It's like,
I'm a big plant nerd.
Yeah.
And that's what anybody who takes their shit seriously is, just a big fucking plant nerd.
Yeah.
A lot of plant nerds. We all collect plants like it's trading cards and stuff. It's weird. You know what I mean? It's totally weird.
Yeah.
It's totally great though.
Yeah,
For
I love
the consumer.
I do find it so interesting too, the amount of growers that are on Instagram. That are connecting with other growers. Like, who would have thought that could be used against the illegal Texas marijuana.
Totally, and see, like that was like the thing is like I followed as a fan, you know, the whole Instagram, like there's like a whole Instagram weed movement culture thing, and I followed as a fan forever, and I always wanted to put my own shit out there one day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I started growing, started putting my stuff out there, and whenever you start putting it out for like an audience to judge you or whatever, is like when it becomes real.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And like people start chopping you down and, you know, judging you and talking shit about all your flaws, and you have to start doing it better, and then you crave to do it better to put it out like that. So it's almost like you're competing with yourself, and that's the whole point.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not to compete with other people, it's to compete with yourself.
Wow.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, putting it out there, it's been a cool journey. You know what I mean? Like starting, it's just all iPhone. For me, it's all iPhone pictures, non-edited. That's like the whole thing. It's just like, here's the plant.
Yeah.
You know,
Here
and,
it is, it's
I'm
raw.
not really even
Yep.
particularly good at taking pictures. You know, I kind of suck at it.
Right.
So
Well, I mean,
it's
you
very
don't-
realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
and you don't really have to. You don't really have to do, put a lot of filters or be good at taking pictures of something beautiful.
Exactly, and that's the whole
You know,
point. You know,
yeah,
that's the whole
yeah.
point. So I'm glad that wasn't missed.
No,
You
not
know?
at all, not at all. Your plants are beautiful, and they definitely caught our eye. And then we smoked them, and it was just like, oh my God, hallelujah! Like what? Oh my God! Like we've traveled to many, many places. This is beautiful. Traveled to many places and smoked a lot of wonderful, wonderful weed, and grown by beautiful, holy, wonderful people. And yours is fucking up there, my man. It's fucking so resinous and stinky and complex and just beautiful. I mean, it's love.
I appreciate that, yeah.
And here you are in Texas, behind enemy lines.
Dude, you
Yeah.
have given us
No.
like bragging rights where we go. Actually,
Dude,
we've taken your weed to like other cannabis conferences or cannabis events with growers. We smoke what you have, and they are blown away. And they're
Totally.
so fired up by it. And
Yes.
they're so excited that Texas has such fire. And dude, nothing more than like a Texan getting the right to brag a little more.
Absolutely.
Like,
and see what I've
You're
learned. What
so
I've learned
true.
from like
That
being
is
on
so
the internet
true.
and like connected like this, dude, is there's people doing exactly this in the most obscure places. It would just blow your mind.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like there's people like there's one of the biggest breeders actually who's been like. He's been like preserving some like really old school shit since like the 80s type thing. He's actually in Alaska, dude.
oh shit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know, it's like how? I don't get it. Like how, you know, it's
Yes.
like, it doesn't make sense, you know?
Right, dude. You know what I just thought about? Sorry, when you said Alaska.
It just
you know,
blows my fucking
Have
mind.
you ever seen those vegetables that come out of Alaska where sunlight hits 24 hours a day?
No, I actually haven't.
They're fucking super vegetables.
Yeah.
Like
it'll be
big ass?
Dude, it'll be a cabbage the size of this table. And I'm just wondering if anyone's tried to grow like an auto or something in that light.
I mean, that's what it was made for, is autos where they were, the ruderalis, whatever cannabis, was found on
Yeah,
the steps of
ruderalis.
the Ural Mountains in Russia. So it was like 24-hour light type thing. That's where they
Yes.
found the 24-hour varieties for the first time in the wild.
Wow,
You know what I mean? So
wow.
that's
And it's
exactly what it was.
amazing. It's a female plant
What's up, man?
it's a female plant that does, that pollinates itself, It's like, it doesn't need a man to grow. It's pretty fucking amazing. Pretty powerful plant. And
But you can get them super ruda.
yeah, man.
Super ruda.
What's so funny though is like Texans love to brag and we think we're so big and bad, but then Alaska. Okay?
Right,
like
right.
seriously.
Which is like one of the.
I mean, it is a country, okay?
And technically, it is bigger than us. I don't think
It
Texans
is.
like to admit that.
No.
Yeah,
we
Alaska's
do
what,
not.
1/3 of the United States?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
It's beautiful, no doubt. It's just weird, like some guy cut off from the rest of the world or whatever is like collecting really super rare cuts
Right.
and like getting them from the mail, obviously, just like the same way the rest of us do.
Right.
This guy's, it's just really
United
trippy.
States
It's just
Postal
trippy.
Service. is
Yeah,
the biggest
drug
mule
dealer of the whole and everything. You know?
Yeah.
in
right.
the globe.
Yeah, for sure.
U.S.
They need to make that tax. they don't know what they've got. I hope they don't do that. I'm being.
You hear that they're gonna get rid of overnight service?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's
Wow.
like a new thing that they're talking about. They're gonna be restructuring their business because of bankruptcy or some shit like that, and they're gonna be slowing down service. Like so, overnight will go to 2 day, 2 day will go to 3 day or something.
Well, I mean, come on.
I don't know.
We saw that coming.
Yeah, so that's going to be changing a lot. So
Yep.
originally that would knock out the clone game because people can't send live plants like that.
Right.
But now they created new containers with little lights in them. Clone
Nice.
shippers.
Wow, dude, really?
Yeah.
Clone shippers. Oh my god.
Yeah, they're
Brilliant.
called clone shippers.
Who did that?
That's awesome.
Someone
Who did
named Clone
that?
Shipper Company.
Dude, Clone Shipper Company, call me. I just want to talk about it. That's the best idea. That's so cute. That's
Yeah,
so
so-
smart. Clone Shipper.
I'm gonna start sending out my stuff the same way in
Yeah,
the clone
nice.
shippers.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So, we one thing that I've obviously just been so.
Thank you. This is incredible.
I love listening to you talk, man, because you're so passionate about the plants you grow and the types that you grow. And I'm hoping like you could just geek with me a little bit more on your hunt for sort of the darkest of plants.
Totally. Yeah, so we're always going through tons of new varieties, obviously. Lately, something that's been super impressive on, so to fill everybody else in, what he's talking about is like black plants,
Yes.
plants that like will fade into like not just like a super deep purple, but almost like a black. Just like something that is, I think anybody who sees something that's like black with tons of like trichomes, like fucking black and frosty, you're just like, wow.
Dude, it looks
I
like
need to
something
smoke
off
that.
of Avatar.
Yeah, you're like, I want to smoke that.
It's the Academy Awards.
Right. It's like
okay?
it's like
just
when we were all first getting into it, it's like seeing something that was like white was amazing, and then that became like the regular. Everything
Yeah.
became like white. It was like super frosty white. And just so whenever you have that black and white contrast, like the Oreo type thing going on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we know.
Yeah, super dope.
So you are now trying to cultivate just that, like the darkest of darks.
So that's what I would say that's like a side project or like not or like almost like a focus within the focus. It's like
it's
what
focus within the focus.
it's what I'm chasing. It's what I'm chasing with a big piece of my like allotted space of what I can grow.
Right.
But it's not all that I'm growing. You know what I mean? Because I do grow other things too. I got to keep it interesting, and so we are starting like our first breeding runs with the idea of stacking a lot of these crazy gelatos on top of each other that are super in demand, and that I honestly just really like, because what you're trying to do when you stack a lot of the same things on top of each other is you start stacking recessive traits.
Yeah.
And you start pulling out weird things that weren't even necessarily there in the original, but that provide a lot of potency in the progeny, which is like the offspring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah, like
We're
you're talking
basically-
like
we're-
No,
we're talking about making F1 crosses. We're talking about making new F1 crosses, but it's basically using similar things on both sides to where you're stacking similar traits. You know what I mean?
Yeah, got it. And he had a Sherb Gushers.
Yeah,
back cross.
so that's an example. So
Yeah.
whenever it's Gushers on one side, where it'll be 41 and Triangle Kush, and then Sherb BX on the other side, which is Sherb, and then Animal Cookies BX too.
Jesus.
So Sherb will be part of the 41. So it's almost like you have the same genetic pools on each side,
Yeah.
right? And then those things are stacking on top of each other, and that's how you get that recessive outlier, which we'll call a unicorn pheno, something new and unique and badass.
Right.
We're
right?
unicorns.
Yeah.
Our high school mascot was a unicorn.
Was it really?
Yeah, dude.
That's so dope.
Second podcast in a row we talked about it.
Well, hey,
Every time they bring it up.
I only caught it right now. I think that's dope.
Thank you.
So-
That's dope though. That's really, really dope. So what are you finding then? Are you finding those really dark traits coming out?
So
And is
basically,
that
yeah.
what
So what you'll find a lot of these is like those like what I like
Is
to call.
that how you're getting the
I like to call them like cookie outliers.
Yeah, yeah.
So they'll like have those kind of like. They'll have the high potency, and what those cookie outliers feature is their trichomes, like on a millimeter spectrum. Like if you zoom way in, the trichomes are like 0.2 millimeters closer to each other
Yeah.
than a regular phenotype would be, and so they're like mutants in a way. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But a lot of
Yeah.
these, they'll fade super deep and super dark and black, and really it's just a pheno on pheno basis. You have to pop a bunch of seeds, you have to finish them out, see just how that one comes out. It's just gambling.
Yeah.
And I mean, like you've seen, we pop hundreds of seeds at any given time. There's hundreds of plants around, and it's there's definitely no shortcuts, and there's no like secret to it. It's just I don't know. It's
Dedication,
yeah,
baby.
for
Yeah.
sure. It's gardening, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Extreme gardening.
Yeah, it's extreme gardening.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
It is as extreme as you could be. Is
Oh my
extreme gardening without stuff growing off the walls.
Right.
You
know?
guys,
Yeah.
I have got to share with you a story that I read this week when I was doing some research on Conor McGregor and his CBD brand. So I stumbled upon a story of this UK drug ring that was busted up just recently.
Wow.
All right, the UK cops seized $8.9 million worth of cannabis from these gardeners.
$9 million.
But here's the thing. I'm like reading this. Those are the words that they use. Like that's the
Right, but
sentence.
what was the amount?
They seized this $8.9 million worth US from these gardeners, and I'm like, what's wrong with you people? What's wrong with this world? And then, I mean, $8.9 million worth US. Who the fuck knows? This shit is so expensive in the UK. This shit is so expensive.
Yeah, how much
we
weight
think
was
it's
it?
expensive here.
How much weight was
I don't know.
it?
I'll send you the article.
It's probably some lame
But-
ass amount of weight that they like over
Exactly. And the cops are like, "Oi,
10,000 a pound or something."
$8.9
Yeah, right.
million
Yeah.
worth. It's like, fuck you. But let me tell you why I actually.
Fuck you, England.
Listen, why I clicked on the article in the first place is because it started this social media campaign called Free Stephen Perry, because they put the mugshots out and they tweeted the mugshots out, and one of the dudes actually looks like a model. He's very
That
hot.
happens all the time.
Yeah, and they're like, yo, this free this man, or I'm gonna, he's gonna be in fucking jail for 18 months.
It happened to like some thief too, like some other guy who was like in like serious prison and like got out, became a model too. It happens all the time, man.
I'm not saying it would happen to you, but it would happen to you.
It definitely wouldn't happen to me.
It would happen to you.
Yeah,
You would,
yeah. Definitely wouldn't happen
Yeah.
to me. My luck
The
definitely.
cloak of beauty.
Yeah, definitely
know.
definitely have to let other things shine for me.
Yeah.
I mean, hey man.
So is your goal to have just like a black hole, like blackness in
So,
cannabis?
let me tell you, my definitely goal would be just to have a plant that legitimately grows. So like I have one plant right now that buds purple, right? It buds like, for instance, like it's almost there, So like it buds. So the pre-flowers like just start, and usually on any other plant they'll start green with little white hairs, and then they'll grow, they'll swell, and then later in the flowering they'll kind of fade into a purple or whatever color.
Yeah.
I have one plant right now, peanut marmalade. Right when it buds, it just immediately turns purple, right? So like it doesn't start green. It starts really dark purple, right? So that's like a trait that you would grab, and you'd use that and then throw it with either a male or a reversed female that had something similar going on, right? Because you're trying to create all offspring that are immediately, there's no green associated, So like that's what we're doing, is we're just trying to go down that line and just trying to get as dark as we can. It's beyond just for looks too. There's anthocyanins, or actually like something on a molecular level. Like whenever you see people washing hash and like the purple hash comes out, it actually has something to do with like the terps and the type of high that you get from it. And I think there's still not a whole lot of study done on it. I know that there's a lot of preference to it, not just because of the way it looks. I mean, I'm sure that has a really big part of it. It's purple. People want that. But I think beyond that, I think there's something called a perp terp. I mean, like the way purple weed. I'm sure you're familiar.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Perp
it's like,
terp.
the way purple
Perp.
weed tastes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
But perps are like synonymous too with like kind of the sexual like.
It's old
the
school. It's
terp.
old school Bay Area
Those
vibe. You know.
perps. Oh yeah. It's like,
old school
you
San
know what's
Francisco.
going down when you're smoking some perps.
It's old school San Francisco,
When you
Oakland
suggest
vibes.
them.
It's like Oakland vibes, old
Yes.
school Oakland vibes.
Okay.
A little weird. Smoke some perps.
Yeah, that's right. Oakland. So, not speaking of Oakland, I'm taking it to Atlanta, okay, because we've got Killer Mike Soda behind you. Killer Mike, I heard him say that on like interview. I think it might have been Joe Rogan about the Perps.
Oh yeah.
And his wife, yeah. And I was like, oh damn, him too.
Wow.
So I felt close to him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they are an aphrodisiac.
Yeah, they are.
Not to make it completely weird. So keep growing
No,
that
totally
horny
not.
weed, dog.
Yeah, totally not. That's definitely.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they even like. Yeah, I don't know. I'm
Everybody
pretty
wants
sure
help.
you'll walk into a dispensary nowadays and like they'll probably try to sell you weed based on that slogan. So I don't think
Oh,
that's
yeah.
even like new anymore.
No, it's not.
Pretty sure
It's
everyone's
not.
heard it now at this point. You know.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
every commercial cannabis company has banged that slogan off the wall enough to try to sell their bud at this point. You know what I mean?
100%.
This
Oh.
shit'll get you laid.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? It's like, Open the jar, mids.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So what do you think? What is the answer? What is the answer? Obviously, we're in Texas. We're in the Liberty Market. So let's not even try to provide a solution to that right now. Big picture in the U.S.
So federal legalization is probably going to happen before legalization here happens, and it's just so that all these like last stand fucking Republicans can be like, yeehaw, we're in Texas, yeehaw, we're the last stand, you know? It's literally like, it's so fucking typical, dude.
Yeah.
Right. It's so typical,
Yeah.
and so they're gonna have to go federal before they go legal here.
Right.
Once that happens, so that's what we're working for right now, is because whenever federal legalization happens and state lines aren't like a problem anymore, and people can take weed from LA to New York like legally, it's going to be all about proprietary weed, and it's going to be about like people are going to, like, in order for somebody to want what I have, I'm going to have something different than anybody else. Otherwise, they're going to buy it from the famous people who have, you know, whatever to offer in LA at super high quality or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why we're breeding right now. That's why we're working on our own hunts, and that's why we're doing our own. That's why we're not cutting corners and just running like really famous clones like a lot of people are. We're just trying to beat those to death. I mean, I run those here and there in order to like keep like a gauge on what's going on. You know, like I'll do a couple runs of like the popular stuff here and there, and then, you know, I'll run it next to something that's like one of the crosses. So that I can kind of like compare the two plants type thing.
Right.
And what
Learn
you
something
mean-
about them, you know?
And what you mean by that running clones to death is just these clones of like runts. Runts is the hot
Exactly.
thing. You know, so I'm gonna grow runts. Come on in, the water's fine.
What's up, man? Hey.
Hey,
Hey, what's up, man?
Big
So-
J's, CBD. So that's important to note. You know, it's like, oh, I got this. You know, I got this runts. You know, it's like, of course, your guy might be growing runts. You know, but it's just the same clone that everybody has, or who knows? Who knows? There's just nothing very creative about it.
Right.
You know. And
Hey,
so what you're doing is
there's a bunch of buds over there. If you guys are welcome to try some buds. Yeah, sorry, I just got carried away there. What did you ask me?
No, it's all good.
I love that
It's all
about you.
good. What you're doing is something different. What you're doing is something different. You're stretching it. You're making it an art. You know, you are not letting the confines of your state define you.
Totally.
And what you're about. You are about elevating the game. It's never fucking about Texas this, Texas that. You know, you got to be smart, and we support that always.
I mean, I just couldn't see my own life
you don't
without it,
think
and that's
about
what it really comes down to.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? My own life couldn't be.
Do you ever
without
see
that,
yourself
so.
leaving Texas?
No.
Yeah.
I have too much. My roots are here, you know. Like I have family here. Like my girl has a kid here. It's like there's a lot of things here, you know. It's
We're
like,
here.
Yeah, everyone I know is here. I couldn't go start over. I'm like a little bit too old for that. You know what I mean?
No,
That
you're
would
not.
suck. That would just suck
No,
for
you're
me.
not.
I've done that plenty of times now in my life, and like I actually really like it here. It's awesome. I could see like it really just. I could see it blowing up here. A lot of my friends who are like big breeders, like they see a lot of potential here. I mean, the amount of people that hit me up and like want action here is insane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like
Oh,
that,
yeah.
that didn't happen until I was here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you dream of one day having like a full operation, like legal in Texas? Like
Totally.
Like a full.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, of course.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the whole point.
Yeah.
I would love that. Yeah, but there's, you know, I even have friends that do what I do here, and there's like dreams of having that big collective one day, right?
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
either way, it's not going to stop anybody on the way, at least. You know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah.
right. I mean, it's just not, and we're so grateful to be so proximal
Absolutely.
to someone who is really, literally moving this movement. You know,
Look,
you're
yeah.
progressing this movement. What do you have there, and can I
Yo,
smell it?
I meant
please?
to ask you, have you seen this?
I
What is
did
this?
that.
Oh, is this a plasma lighter?
Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah.
That's so dope.
But I want to smell that I didn't smell.
No, it's pretty good. Here,
What is it?
Space Runt Sherp Cake.
Oh, okay.
It's like more bulbous.
Jeez.
Bulbous.
Beautiful.
Now smell that.
Jesus. God, that's so much limonene. It's so fucking hard.
Sharp, right?
Sharp.
Limeland.
Ooh, limeland.
I just started growing black lime
But the
reserve.
reason you
I'm gonna get my
squeeze it, the reason you
proboscis in
squeeze it is so you can
Pop the
fucking get that
trichomes.
lime out there because
Yeah.
it's hidden in a cloud of funk.
Totally.
All right, you got to get through the funk to get to the gold.
I totally agree.
Okay, and that's when you know what you smoking is real. That's why I will smuggle this shit, okay, everywhere. And I will say, have you smoked Texas weed? Come here and give it a sniff. I do that, and people know that. You know that. If you know me, you know I do that. Oh,
Look at that.
Beautiful.
it's so beautiful.
So many trichomes, right?
How do you do that?
But
It's
this
like
is
purple.
the one. This is the one that I think is gonna go black next
Oh,
Wow.
because it's going really dark purple pretty early.
what is it?
So it's Fruity Pebbles OG crossed with Sure BX. So Fruity Pebbles OG. You see over here? Look. See how it's going black
Yeah.
Yeah.
already, and it's only in week 4. So it's
Wow.
halfway through flowering.
Dude, send me those pictures.
Absolutely, yeah. But you see, look, you see
Sounds
how
chill.
it's what I'm talking about. You see how the leaf is actually a mutant, where it sticks out and there's 3 blades.
Yeah.
You see that? It's a weird. So that's a
Ooh.
cookie mutant.
Dude, he's a 3-fingered bastard.
And that's what I was telling you. That's what I was telling you. It's from similar genetics being on both sides, and what happens is the recessive traits
Yeah.
get stacked on top of each other,
Yeah.
so a mutant pheno comes out.
Oh, like the real family.
Dude, he really is a bastard.
It is straight up. Straight up. It's like cousin. It's
He's
like
a
cousins
royal
boning.
bastard. Yes.
Yeah, it's like cousins boning.
You're sick. I love it.
Yeah, I'm making sick, fucked up phenos,
So
and
into
they're
that.
and they're super hard to grow right. And that's
So
also
into that.
that's another thing is the challenge. The challenge is what really provoked me to like do these types of things. You know,
Yes.
Yeah.
these plants are hard to grow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, man, what you're doing truly is it's the most heroic thing to me, and I am truly blessed to know you, and we're behind you all the way, and we just want to spread the good word, and we want to help you do that too, and we want to protect it, but we want to get it out there.
Man,
and
you-
I'm so honored that you would get it out there.
You
the
make
way
me feel
do.
so bashful, bro.
Yeah.
You make me feel so bashful when you say that. I think you guys are doing something that's important, man. Like fighting for the right, you know. So.
Thank you.
Of course, like
Thank
you know, all jokes aside, there's a lot of people. I mean, there's important people who lose, like who get busted or whatever, and lose it all, and all the time. You know what I mean? There's a guy who owned a really big seed bank, Blockchain Novelties. He got busted like last year, and I think he just recently got out or something. It was like I heard it was like a $250,000 bond. I don't know if that was like hearsay. I could believe it. They took his dad.
this.
They took his dad to prison, and his dad is in his 80s and like not okay. And they fucking took his dad to prison type thing. Yeah. So there was like one breeder who basically like went this guy's scapegoat genetics went like off the deep end, basically like dedicating the last year and like got this guy out.
Wow.
Got him out. You know what I mean? So it's like there's people who lose, and that guy was in Lake Tahoe, man. And there's like rights in Lake Tahoe, and he was just like operating outside of like the legal barriers,
Right.
and he just got targeted because he was famous because he had this website.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just really bogus. Like there's people who get picked on, and that's why I'm not like necessarily scared. I know how the law works, and I see it as a really crooked and fucked up thing. And like if they have their eye on you and their target on you, like they're coming for you. And there's nothing you can fucking do about that. You know what I mean? So I try to just like not be a nuisance to the law. I try to follow all the other laws. You know what I mean? As best as I can.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. You got to do your
Dude,
best,
you're
and you
a
got
good
to.
citizen. You're a
Yeah.
good citizen.
I'm in the HOA and everything. You know what I mean? It's like
You got to be, man. You got to be, and
Yeah,
just hope that people can wake up and people can start to have their voice heard, because you're sure as shit not growing this just to smoke all by yourself.
oh, I mean, totally not.
Like,
yeah.
let's be real. You know,
That's not how
recently we
how
had a
something's a
friend-
job, you know.
Right.
It's not a job if you're
No.
if you're smoking all
We
of it,
recently
right?
had a friend who, you know, got busted and who made edibles, and it was a very tragic story. And one of his customers was the wife of a law enforcement officer, a very important law enforcement officer. And
Weak.
she's very sad about the fact that he got busted, of course. Now she can't get her edibles.
Wow,
But
that's
I'm also
weird.
like, can you just make it known that this is not okay? That you had a friend, and you know what's going on here, You know, like we need people talking about this issue that in Texas, okay?
It's fucking
That
crazy,
we're still
right?
locking people up for a plan.
Totally.
Yes.
You know, and that's what we need to talk about. Find the fuck out of them. Do what you got to do. Yes, thank
Hell
you.
yeah.
Angel Blunt. You know, find the fuck out of them or whatever. Figure it out. We can figure out how to punish people. We can. Don't put them in jail.
What I love is that none of it. We just don't accept it. You know,
Totally.
It's people like you. It's people like us, and we're fighting it in our own ways. But we don't accept it any longer.
Damn right.
And we're just going to be open about it until they change the system because
Damn right.
we've changed our minds.
Totally.
And
That's a
there's nothing-
fucking great
Ooh,
way
there's
to put
something
it, man.
spicy in there.
And once a Texan has his mind made up, it's hard to convince him otherwise.
Autoflower.
You went full sneeze.
I did. That was a double sneeze from that blunt. Sorry, that was limonene,
That's a terpy.
central
It's
terpiness.
a terp tickle.
Sorry about that.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, man.
Anyway.
But truly, I just want to say as we kind of close out here, thank you so much for what you do.
Of course.
We're behind you all the way, and
Yeah.
can't wait to continue this conversation.
Of course, man. Thank you guys for what you guys do, and I'll always be in your corner. Of course.
Fucking A, bro.
Yay.
I love you
Thank
guys, man.
Love you.
Likewise.